do it this way. Plus 4 Celsius, 36 F. Well, maybe 37, I'm thinking.
Turn left onto the ramp to I-15 North. In 400 meters, merge onto I-15 North.
This thing is like a train. I like that rear axle. I wanted to fuel up in here, but I still have more than 3/4 of a tank. So I'm gonna fill up at the next stop, which I programmed here. 110 miles to Town Pump in Boulder.
Continue on I-15 North for 104 kilometers.
Beautiful day today. Yesterday was, I didn't have time to show you guys driving, but it was anywhere from rain to snow, and I even had hail briefly. And a funny thing happened here at the truck stop. When I came in, I saw a guy exercising, you know, near his truck. So I did the same, did a few movements, you know, because, you know, you sit all day. And then the same guy, like a couple of hours later, I still see he's outside, and it's already dark and it's getting chilly, and he's just wearing a t-shirt, and he's on the phone, and he's talking like very excitedly, you know, very loud, in, you know, in his language. I think he was from India or Pakistan or something like that, but nice young guy, you know, that you want to stay away from in these uncertain times, because as we hear on the radio, young people can carry this virus, and they may not even know it, right? But he seemed like a nice guy, and I came out, I said, what's going on? And he points to the truck, and I see from my step, I was still standing here on the step of my truck, I can see inside his cab because he was right next to me. And the light is on, and there's a guy lying on the bed, and he's sleeping, and his hands are folded on his chest, you know, like what they do with dead people when they put them in the coffin. But his leg is moving. His leg is like bent at the knee, and I see it's moving like that. You know, it's falling, then it goes back. And I said, what's going on? And he says, the guy, I was doing exercises, he says, and then I went inside to get tea or coffee or something, and he says, when I came back, the doors were locked. And he was banging on that truck for like 10 minutes with all his power. You know, he looked like a pretty strong guy. He was banging on the door, he was banging on the wall of the sleeper, nothing. Then a guy on the other side came out, like, and we're like, what the heck, how can you sleep like that, you know? So the guy, there was a Peterbilt parked on the other side of this Volvo with a sleeper agent inside. And he says, you want me to honk my horn? He says, I have train horns. That guy honked his horn. It was really sounded like a train going through a station, you know? We look inside, he was honking like for 2 minutes. We look inside, the guy is not moving, you know. And then I said, okay, let me try. So I tried my horn, and with an open door, it sounded pretty nice. You know, of course, not as loud as the real train horns, but I do have 4 of them, so the sound was, you know, very nice, pleasing to the ear. Let's put it that way. So then we start shaking the truck. You know, like 3 of us. You know, all guys in good shape, pretty much. So we start shaking the truck. The whole truck is like that because, you know, they have these airbags, right? One guy from one side, one from the other, so it's like like this. Okay, then we start puffing, we look inside, nothing. Then I came up with an idea. I said, hey, if you have a flashlight, let's try to flash light in his face. You know, just curl on my step and we do this. The Peterbilt guy says, good idea. He runs to his truck, grabs a flashlight, and he has a mode there. He has a mode on his flashlight. He doesn't have to do it, you know, manually. He pushes the button and the light starts pulsating, you know. So it's like World War III, you know, like we honking, we're doing this with the light, we shaking the cab, and then finally after like half an hour of this stuff, I cannot believe like this, you know, nobody can sleep like that. And I say, I don't think he's well, you know. And the Peterbilt guy says, buddy, you better call 911 because, and I felt sorry for this Indian guy. You know, it's like 32 F or 0 outside, and he's in a t-shirt, no hat. So I went inside and brought him out my coat and my winter hat. And actually then I was thinking about this, lying in bed like, you know, now I probably have to sanitize all that because, again, young people, right, dangerous. So I grabbed my napkin and wiped the head at least. But the guy was super grateful because it was, you know, really cold. And then I went inside the truck stop, and the lady says, what was that, all that noise? It's like, the train was coming? We have a railroad here. Sometimes there's a train here, but it wasn't coming this way lately. What's going on? I said, no, it wasn't the train. I said, we were trying to wake the guy in the Volvo over there. You know, it's like, you cannot make this up, you know. And she says, oh, you better call the sheriffs. You want me to call the sheriff? I said, well, they were calling 911 before, they were about to call 911 before I left. And I said, how far is the sheriff? And she says, oh, just next town over. I said, okay, yeah, I probably call him, you know. And so, and the lady, like super nice lady, the proprietor of this place, and it looks like there's a house attached to it, so she just lives there, you know, because I see her car in the back, it didn't move, and then I see the residential part, and she has a nice big friendly dog, you know. Nice place. Dillon, Montana, exit 56, I think, I-15. And so yeah, so I came back, I went back to the truck, I see the doors already open. So I asked the Indian guy, I said, how did you do it? Did you wake him up? He says, no. And he points to the window in the sleeper. He broke the window because the Peterbilt guy told him, I said, 911 sends firefighters, they're gonna break your, you know, window. So he was afraid that they would break the main window, you know, and then you're screwed, you cannot drive. So instead he chose to break the window in the sleeper. And he probably grabbed that guy by the hair because his head was right there. And I look at him, and he's sitting. This other guy, the sleeper, he's sitting, and his eyes are barely moving, and he's like in a daze. I don't know, but that's not normal, you know. You cannot sleep like that. Like if I'm sleeping, right, and somebody touches a chain on my trailer, I get up. Like seriously. If somebody, let alone if somebody stands on my trailer. Like one guy, once I saw, I parked and I was empty at the truck stop, and the guy was moving his cars. He had like a car hauler, and it's very difficult for him to get up, so he was climbing on my trailer, you know, with no, like, didn't ask me, you know, can I do this, are you okay? Like, I got so angry, you know. I said, hey buddy, what are you doing? why are you using my trailer? Is it like a ladder, or at least you should have asked me, right? Is it okay because I'm sleeping and you wake me up because I can hear everything? So I ended up moving my. Oh, I'm sorry. I said I don't want it to fall, and then you will sue me, right? That you fell because of my trailer, So I ended up moving my truck from that place, and I parked somewhere else. But yeah, this was funny, Oh, and then sheriffs showed up. 3 vehicles, lights blazing, no sirens, but it was quite a sight, A pickup truck, I think one was like a Ford F-150, the other was just a regular cop car, and then an SUV. Like 3 beefy guys, Oh, and over here, I don't know, is it just Montana or maybe just this county, but they have super nice uniforms, They're dressed like, at least one guy was dressed like a special army uniform, like green. It was green with a vest, with boots, kind of like what we call them in Russia, spetsnaz, like paratrooper. I'm serious, and it looked pretty cool. And they were not wearing any gloves, no masks, and they're talking to the 2 guys from Canada, like that guy, the plate said Alberta. And if I were them, I would be cautious, but yeah, you gotta be careful, Yeah, I see the truck pulls good. I'm not even, all the way up to 1200 RPM. And like I mentioned yesterday, mostly I'm, that's what I have, 93 kilometers per hour, which is about 58. And now Google Maps, pretty cool. Google Maps has speed, right? In the bottom left corner, it shows you the speed limit. It's 80 miles an hour on this stretch. And it shows my speed, 55, 56, 57, 56. Oh, maybe I'm just doing 57 because miles are bigger, right? So 93, I can be right on the edge of 57, but in theory 93 kilometers an hour should be equivalent to 58. 57 is 92. And I tried to stop somewhere. I was going through such nice, places with, the scenery was breathtaking. Even though the weather was awful and then good, bad, but they were, like blue sky. You're driving these mountains, and the peaks are covered with snow, and then you have crystal blue sky, and they have these black forests over there. Like it looks very contrasty, black versus snow, and then super bright blue sky. Not like today it's kind of like smoky, but yesterday there were patches of super bright blue sky, like you don't even need to use any effects when you take a picture. It looks like it's out of a magazine, but it was all very far, so you need a big lens. And you have to find a place to park, right? You're not supposed to stop, when there's lots of traffic. And then because of this heavy load, it takes a very long time to pick up speed, especially when the road starts going up. Like now, it starts going up. I can see it. I have almost like 28 psi of pressure on my turbo, and I had a couple of these. They don't look like much, but it's gradual, and it keeps going up, and then eventually I have to shift into like 8 low, then 7 high, 7 low. Like, what's going on? Straight road, but yeah, the truck is slowing down now. And then you look in the mirror and you can see how the road is falling off towards the rear. Can you see? Now we're already at 1270, 1260, and it's like, what mountain, right? There's no hill. you would think, but with such a heavy load, 1230, 1220, 1210. So we'll have to go to 8 low. Big hill up ahead. So now we're doing 95 kilometers an hour, 59 miles per hour. Butte is 40 miles away. River on the left side over there. And you see, I'm not changing gears. Because this way you burn more fuel with the cruise control, but who has time, you know? Just passed me like at 90 miles an hour 5 minutes ago. Lots of Canadians, by the way. I've seen over the past 2 days when I started driving, all these guys, like, you know, RVs, and they have a car or pickup truck in the back, or occasionally you see a pickup truck pulling an RV, but lots of these guys all with Canadian plates, you know, Alberta, British Columbia, Saskatchewan, all kind of like heeding the warning from our Prime Minister Trudeau, who said that Canadians, if you're abroad, now this is the time to get back home. You may not be able to do it later. And so people are scared, so they figured they have better chances of survival in Canada as opposed to you know, Arizona or Florida. I have my doubts about that, but I think somebody was saying that Canadian insurance company kind of like threatened that they will not cover coronavirus treatment if you're Canadian and you got sick in the States, because you were told to come back to Canada, you know. So I'm not sure about that, but the fact is I've seen hundreds of these RVs heading north to Canada. Now I wish I had my challenge over here. 80 miles per hour is legal, which means that you can do 85 and not get a ticket. So 85 is 150. So I can drive 150 kilometers an hour here in a Challenger. And out of all states, you know, Montana is probably my favorite state in terms of scenery, you know, but not in winter, in when it's warm like this. You know, occasionally I get out west, right, and I just love it. These open spaces, you know, you can see so far ahead, mountains. I like mountains much better, you know, than, let's say, oceans or rivers. Maybe it has something to do with I'm a Capricorn, and I read in one of those astrology booklets that Capricorns, it's good for them to live where it's, you know, mountain air. But what do they know, right? They also say don't drink coffee, because they said Capricorns have a weakness, like they have weak bones and teeth. And I still remember that booklet. It was kind of a bit funny, you know. But I tried to limit it. I don't drink too much. Oh, and one cool thing about that booklet was, you know, it's one of those things you can pick up where it gives you all kinds of advice on for your sign, and, you know, health, food, you know, career, marriage, stuff like that. And about the career choices, they said that Capricorns are creative, and I'm sure I am creative, and they said quite often Capricorns work in areas, you know, like, but on the business side, in creative areas, but not as an artist, but let's say as an agent for an artist, like, you know, maybe like, I don't know, sports agent, or you manage like a painter or singer, you know, you're like administrator for a rock band, you know, stuff like that. So they say Capricorns are business people. They like to be near the arts, which is interesting because, you know, I'm all into this YouTube. I love photography. I like movies. I like making them. And the second area where they said Capricorns are often can be found, believe it or not, is shipping. And when I read that, I thought, shipping? Back then I had no idea. Like, I thought, okay, shipping, what, like working with ships, you know, or ocean freighters. But now I know that shipping, this is what I'm doing. Trucking is shipping, logistics, transport, right? Oh, I see these guys now. passing me again. Regina, Saskatchewan. Yeah, this is a pretty bad hill. Better keep my RPM a bit higher, like 1400. And the coolant gets to 200 very fast. But I think once we climb that, we should be in the clear. I see this, whenever you see this green area, that's never good. Like in Montana, like in other areas, it can just mean a forest, right, or a park, national park. But whenever you see this in Montana, Idaho, it's not good. It's this huge hills, you know. Too late. This is five low. I really would hate to switch to 4, but this is really a bad hill. Look at this. Yeah. Alright, this one feels good. This one I can stay in because I already have over 1500 RPM. And that's when you want to have, you know, a numerically lower axle ratio, right? Like I have 391. So if I had 410, it would help a bit in a situation like this. Or get a tuner, right? Get a tuner and add like 100 pounds of torque. That would help too. Alright, come on, Cummins. You can do it. It's always, you know, amazes me how cars and pickup trucks they don't feel this, right? They don't care. They drive it, you know, 100 miles an hour, heels, no heels. Alberta. What are we doing over here? 25 kilometers per hour. About 15 miles per hour. We're flying. And I got my fan going because of course the truck would overheat. And actually this is pretty good. I'm not at full torque. I see my PSI is on the turbo is about 23, 22. Okay, let's go in full high. All right. All right, how about 5 low? Cool. And now we have a 6% grade. And the sign says trucks use lower gear. This, so I don't have to, you know, push the truck. I can just accelerate very gently and save on fuel. You see, they have snow on the shoulders here. So I guess it snowed. Okay, this is exit. We are passing exit 99, Moose Creek Road. So now, as they say in Russia, koksu, koksu, koksu. Florid. Yeah. I'm back to 5 high. No. 5 low. All right. Jeez, still no. Okay, 4. Wow. This one is even worse than before. Definitely need I need the tuner, because this is 108,000 pounds, right? What would I do if I had 120,000 pounds? You know? So low axle ratio or the tuner. Of course, the tuner is much cheaper. Finally, we're getting out of this green area because we're turning north. It looks like this highway here, Highway 43 or something. Okay, what was that? No, I don't think that was Canada. Now here would be a cool picture, you know, to stop here, climb over there, and take a shot of those. But they have poles. You know, those poles with electrical wires always spoil everything, because they don't want to take a picture of mountains with electric lines in front of them. I guess that's where Photoshop comes in. Alright, are we getting out of here or not? I think we are, yeah. So like the road turns right, and that will be away from this bad area. Green. Alright, cruise control on. I mean Jake brake. We don't need the fan. Yeah, oh, 43. Yeah, that's the one. So if you take this 43, you're going straight into the mountains. See, that's what I like. I like views like this. It's so, you know, makes you kind of like breathe better, you know? notice next to right, the sign says Big Hole National Battlefield. Big Hole National Battlefield. Alright, so when I see the sign for the small hole, I'll let you guys know. Ah, that's where it is. You see, it says Wisdom, Highway 43, Divide, Wisdom. So I'm guessing those are two towns. And I'm just guessing, but I think that the residents of Wisdom are called smart guys. Like, you know, the mayor comes out in the morning to address the public. And well, smart guys and gals, today we have to report some new instances of coronavirus. Now honestly, I hope this thing will go away, you know, like the flu. When it gets warmer, I hope it goes away. And I got a question. If somebody from NASA is watching this, and I know some of them do, they said that this virus came from the wet market in China, meaning that it came from an exotic wild animal, right? So people that are willing to try like exotic meat, so that's where they go in China. So you can buy meat of all these crazy wild animals, right? And so somehow they got a virus from that animal. So question for the rock scientists: how did the virus survive in that animal? You know, why the animal was not dead, right? So maybe it was sick. Was it sick? Was it coughing? You know, was the animal coughing? But I don't think they would catch it if it was coughing, right? So I bet that animal has some kind of a antivirus antibody inside. So that virus, it probably has these viruses like from birth, you know, and they just live there, coexist. And so this animal should have something that maybe we can use as a vaccine, you know. And nobody's talking about this, you know, like why was that animal infected with the virus and still moving around and living and eating grass, and right? So that's what I'm driving, and I'm thinking about things like that, because you have open road, you know, long grades. So what else is there to think about? And nowadays I keep my satellite radio mostly either on stand-up comedy or on music. Those news channels, they're just killing me, you know. You listen to them, then you're afraid to leave the truck at the truck stop. Like, I want to put the ninja mask on. Well, finally I got a chance to take some pictures. And there's a rest area right on top of a hill. And so I walked over there, took a picture of the truck, and I took a picture of those you know, hills, and there's a little house over there at the bottom, and I took a picture of that. And that's the rest area on the other side. There's a huge mountain with the snow peak on the opposite side of the freeway. So here's the shots. next stop is Town Pump in Boulder, Montana. We are 90 kilometers away. 56 miles. Stop here because I think I already passed the most interesting. No, actually, there's gonna be something in Butte, but you get the idea. Super beautiful, Montana, great state. Be safe, boys and girls. Please do not park within 6 feet of each other. Catch you later.